That's not Jim Beam, damn it.
I know.
It's Jim Beam.
I thought it was awful.
Hey, welcome to this edition of the Great American Whiskey Cookers. We are doing a craft whiskey flight tasting. I've got a couple of new friends of the show, Nate Pilcher, Jeff Leonard, and a familiar friend of the show, Thad King, or Big Human, as most of us know him. So what we're doing is a flight of craft whiskeys with one big bourbon thrown in the mix. And we're going to see kind of where the whole thing kind of shakes out. When we're all said and done, we'll rank them. We've got a ranking sheet. It's a fairly straightforward ranking sheet. 1 to 25 on the nose, 1 to 25 on the palate, 1 to 25 on the finish. Should give us a range. We can come up with kind of what that score is at the end and where we all set, right?
Yep.
And we'll try to do this fairly expeditiously. This is all on first blush. First impression, that's what we're going to go with. We're not experts. We all have day jobs, right? We don't do this for a living, correct?
Not yet.
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Right, we're getting there. All right, so let's start. A is on your left-hand side. So you can rake it on the nose. And there's a scoring. We can put that up on screen for you. What do you think?
It's got a intriguing finish.
Yeah? What do you think?
Moves all from the front all the way to the back.
So a good mouthfeel?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it didn't do much up front, and then as it lingered, I got more and more. It keeps kind of giving.
I would agree with you. And we've got some notes here so that the guys can kind of take notes as they go, just so that they have an idea what to come back to and what they're looking at. What do you think on the finish on it?
The finish is better than the
palate?
The initial palate, the initial start. Yeah,
So you like the finish.
I do.
To what end?
It has a nice little bit of a spice flavor to it.
Okay. Like an allspice or like a
Peppery to me.
So, okay. Peppery all right. I like that. That's good.
Yeah, vanilla for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it kind of middle of the road. I mean, that's not very descriptive, but it's not hitting.
I can agree with that.
Not hitting strong really anywhere. It's just kind of
It's not forcing you down one path.
your average.
Yeah.
So you're going to put it in kind of that 11 to 15 range, that
I think
average range,
I
right?
do like the finish.
Yeah.
And the nose didn't do a lot for me. I'm going to go probably pretty low there.
Yep. Fair enough.
And I think the palate's in between them.
Okay. That's good.
The initial smell was really good. It brought in a caramel smell. I tried going back to it, and I just couldn't get it back to that caramel. And so I've been trying to get back to it, and it's not there.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's other ones that are coming through that are still nice and pleasant. And it's a nice, well-balanced. It's smooth, and then it's got a little bit of proof to it, too. So where it drinks higher than what it should.
You getting the oak?
Oh, yeah, it's right there.
Okay.
So I just put a note down here, low proof. I feel it's a very low proof.
Okay.
Interesting.
I would agree with that.
Interesting.
Like I said, it's a lower proof, but I think it's drinking higher than what it truly is.
Okay.
All right. Let's move on to B and see where we're at with B. And Kirk, our executive producer, isn't doing the entire flight. He just actually poured himself the one that he liked the best because he's the one who poured them. If you're kind of curious about that.
Oh, why is that different?
A lot different.
Huh. And then
I'm not sure I like the nose. I'm not sure I like the nose on this at all.
And I don't know if I like the palate either. What is this? This is awesome. Somebody say something so I can agree with them.
I don't want to score
Like I did the last couple times.
Right away, I think the nose to me. You mentioned it in a different time we talked, but you talked about buttered popcorn.
Is that what you got out of that?
I did.
Interesting. I didn't get that. It was almost, what the hell is that?
Yeah. I know this smell. Now I lost it again.
And this is where, as average whiskey drinkers, we're not experts. We don't do this for a living. It's trying to figure out just exactly what it is that we like or what we don't like. And there's, I hate to say this, it smells stale to me. It's got a stale smell.
It feels like a not very mature bourbon. not aged very long.
Okay.
Pretty simple.
So I got like a mild juicy fruit, like you've been chewing juicy fruit gum for a little bit.
Juicy fruit.
Yeah. So you know how it gets older. I had that on the nose, and then I had that on the palate.
Love your.
I know that's great.
It's just great.
Yeah, the Big Human does a really good job of it. The finish doesn't. I mean, it just goes away for me.
It's very lacking.
Yeah.
I think
it's a young bourbon. I really do.
the way I describe it is it doesn't make me want to come back to it.
Right.
I want a bourbon that makes me want to go, I want to drink more of this, and it just doesn't make me want to come back to it.
Bland maybe is.
Kind of a very singular.
I keep going. I keep drinking it because I'm trying to.
You're trying to find it.
Trying to pinpoint it. Yeah.
Nothing's really hit you like wow, right? So far,
Not on that one.
okay.
That one just, it's just like, you know, I was expecting that juicy fruit to kind of come through, and there was just that little hit. And then the last sip that I had, it was just like, whoa, ugh.
You just didn't.
Yeah, it fell flat, and it came in with that proof and hit, and then it basically disappeared right away.
Okay.
So it was a shock.
Let's try C.
Yeah.
Let's try the next one. See what we think.
Ooh.
Wow.
Ooh, wow. That's what. Ooh, explain that. Ooh, wow.
All sorts of. I mean, where this was hard for me to pick a flavor up, this is just blowing my socks off with. I mean, very caramel big on this one, I think.
I get that. Yeah, I can easily pick that up.
Or butterscotch, maybe
Oh, there you go.
somewhere in there.
I like the butterscotch note. That's a good descriptor of this.
Tons of flavor opposed to or smelling flavor, I guess.
I almost get the nose almost reminds me of like a praline ice cream.
I got Twix.
Really?
Yeah, I got the caramel. I got a little bit of cocoa. I'm like just a faint, like a hint of like a graham cracker.
I enjoy the nose.
Yeah, I do too. That's my favorite nose so far.
When I first went to it, there was a little bit of a floral smell to it.
Let's take it to the palate and see what we think. Careful.
I'm not saying nothing yet until they say it.
What do you think?
Honestly, I'm not getting much off of it.
So it's just kind of falling flat for you.
It is.
Okay.
Yep.
I mean, kind of a sugary.
The sugary I get, I can pick. Is it falling flat? Is it just kind of singular?
It was kind of a letdown from the nose. Without
fair.
without being able to describe the actual flavors, it just. I guess I was expecting more out of the
You're expecting
taste.
bigger, bolder flavors.
Bigger, bolder. Yeah.
right? And so what you're saying is the nose just kind of, or the palate was less than impressive from the nose, and it just fell flat for you.
It did.
It didn't deliver.
It didn't deliver. Yes.
It's sweet. It came in tasting like a cereal, so I know that it's a wheated. There's basically just a little bit of caramel, not a lot of wood or oak smell to it, or smoke. So, and it does have a nice tingle, so it kind of brings up where that proof point is.
Mm-hmm.
It is growing on me.
Is it?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about the finish? Where are you at with the finish? What are you thinking?
I do taste oak at the end.
Good oak or like burnt oak?
I'd say it's good oak, but it's very, just feels very flat to me.
Okay.
There's not much pronunciation there either way. It's very medium bodied.
So kind of like middle of the road, just kind of a. You can
There's
take
nothing that wows me on it.
Okay, that's fair. I'll go with that. That's a fair assessment.
It goes back, you're getting more of it now. I can taste more of that wood. It's
Yeah,
interesting how it
and
changes.
it's not a bad oak. And you used the word stale before. It's
That's what I got on the nose.
like a weathered oak. It's
That's what I got on this one was stale.
it's not a sharp. It's not a. It's kind of a dead feeling. Dead wood taste.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, for me the finish is it's It's fairly short, the finish is for me. It doesn't stick around too long, and I get the oak on it. I'm picking that up. The caramel and the vanilla fades really quick for me on this, and I lose those flavors. They just seem to go away, and the proof just kind of sits there, and that alcohol just kind of sits there, then the flavors.
Guess I'm gonna have a hard time, I think, picking a clear winner.
Let's go on to D and see where we're at. Oh, ballsack.
That one's a lot darker, so that's been in the barrel longer. It's aged longer. Maybe a doubled oak.
Ooh, that's got a real sweet.
And I tried to keep the proofs pretty close to each other. They're within about, I think, 10 to 12 proof of each other. It's not a huge swing, but it's a big enough swing. But still, I tried to keep them fairly close to each other.
Tootsie Roll.
Tootsie Roll?
It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely Tootsie Roll. I would have never got to that.
That is.
Oh,
Yeah.
The nose is floral and sweet to me.
Yeah, I think it's sweet.
I can get down into that part of it after I get past that Tootsie Roll. I can start basically opening it up and peeling it back, and I'm getting that floral. I'm getting a nice vanilla. I'm getting a caramel a little bit, but that Tootsie Roll just is hitting me.
So did you nose the Tootsie Roll or did you taste the Tootsie Roll?
I haven't tasted it yet.
Okay. I couldn't nose it, but I tasted it.
Did you taste excited about that?
Yeah, I tasted the Tootsie Roll.
Jeff, what are you thinking?
Yeah, just a few things I'm writing down. At first, I think on the palate, maybe it's just a little bit dry, but that was the first drink. Has a really good finish to me.
Yeah, the finish is incredibly pleasant. I would agree with you on that.
That is, yeah. That finish is a nice smooth, and it brings back more.
Does it coat your mouth?
Oh, yeah.
Does it give you
It coated the mouth. And it's a pleasant. I'm still trying to basically identify that flavor
Yeah.
after on that finish. Because the Tootsie Roll is on the palate as well.
I think maybe this one has more. This one definitely has more going on than the other ones do in it. For me.
Can't wait to see what bottle I'm buying now.
Yeah, there's the finish on this one for me is it's really pronounced and it just kind of hangs there.
So I really like the finish on it. The palate does not do much for me.
Okay.
I was going to throw, can you compare to other?
Yeah, go right.
So that's okay.
Yeah, compared to whatever you want.
I hate to throw the word willet out there, the pot still, but the palate, it had kind of that tangy, the tannins.
Oh, yeah. That you would pick up from a pot still?
Yes. And the willet in particular, which I
Sure.
don't care for. This is definitely not as pronounced as that, but I do get, I guess, some abrasive flavors in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it finishes, I think, wonderful. Yeah, I'm going to go to that pot still, that flavor, the tannins, and it's just, that sticks out to me. I think that takes away from the flavor for me, but it finishes, I think, wonderful. Once
Yeah.
that taste gets out of your mouth,
Yeah.
the finish is incredible on it.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I think the finish is really good. It's still the palate is still just has this mid layer of dryness for me.
Does it?
Yeah.
But good or bad? I mean, because that can be both. Right? It can be either one, right?
Yeah.
Because there's
I
red
wouldn't. It's
wines-
not bad.
Okay.
It's not bad.
So you don't dislike it, and it's not unpleasant to you, is what you're
Right.
saying.
It's
It's
not
just dry.
really dry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We
just
go
a little-
back to,
Yeah. Go back through them, and
so I got to put, I think this one might be your big distiller. If I was going to go out,
okay. So yeah, let's pick. Which one do you guys think is the big bourbon?
and I would even throw like an ancient age at that.
Oh, at this one here at B.
I want
So
to.
you're saying B is the big bourbon?
Yep, and I think it's an 80 proof. It's something simple and it reminiscent of ancient age.
Okay, write that down because I don't want to forget it. Big Human. What do you think? Which one's the big bourbon?
I'm still trying to think about that one.
Okay, Jeff. I'm not going to say because I know because I helped Kirk pour.
Yeah. I would probably have to go with D. I think that one has the most,
As the Big Bourbon.
the most balance, the most flavor, most
Okay.
everything just feels to be more balanced on that one.
Okay. Fair enough. Let me go back through. Fair enough. So you're saying D is the Big Bourbon.
I'm saying D is the Big Bourbon. Yep.
It reminds me so much of Ancient Age. Crazy. So I'm calling. That's what I'm. Big Bourbon.
That's what you're calling.
Yep.
Okay.
Going from here to there.
Wow. Yeah.
That's a different.
Okay. Thank God you only did 4. If I had to narrow it down from.
You're saying D is ancient age, you're thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's yeah. I could have easily done like 6, 7, 8.
Well,
I was like,
It's tough.
yeah, we're gonna do a couple of these. So, what do you think? Call it Big Bourbon.
I'm going.
Yeah, boy.
I'm torn.
Okay, so
It's a tough one.
Every time I go back to B, I
I'm
get popcorn.
going Big Bourbon.
you get popcorn.
Every time I'm B, yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. And I think once you find out what it is, it'll make a lot of sense.
I'm torn as far as going, instead of going Big Bourbon, and as far as picking that, I'm going which one I like the most.
Okay, well, let's do that. Which one do you like the most? Add up your scores, and which one do you like the most?
When you go back through them, it basically really changes everything.
I mean, I know where my score is, but then again, I helped Kirk pour these. So add up your scores. If you still have some left over, try it out and see if you're still thinking that that's probably your best one. I'm really kind of curious about this.
There we go. I don't know what it is though.
That's bad math.
What's your favorite?
Favorite is D, like everybody
D?
else. I'm thinking that C is the Big Bourbon,
Okay, you're saying
but
C is-
I can't figure out who it is.
Okay. So you're saying C. Mark that down. That it's Big Bourbon. Okay, you got it. All right.
And don't care about my chicken scratches here, but I'm thinking that's the Big Bourbon and everything else.
Right.
Okay.
But I'm waiting to see how you do. And then I also wrote down the proofs, what I was thinking for proofs, and I'm probably way off this time.
These are all below 100.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll tell you that much.
Oh, screw that one.
They're all below 100.
I only had one above 100.
Because, so here's my thought process on putting these together, right? Which is the casual whiskey drinker, the average whiskey drinker, is not likely to buy a whiskey that's over 100 proof. They're not going to pick up 120, 110, 115 proof whiskey because it's going to scare the living crap out of them, right? They're probably going to pick up something below 100. These are all ones that they might find in a store that they might actually pick up because they're below 100 proof and it wouldn't necessarily scare them a whole lot. So that's kind of my thought process on this.
I just noticed something. Why is it that you guys all have stuff left and I'm out?
Sounds like a personal problem. You can, you can lobby to Kirk, the other executive producer, for more if you really want.
No, I'm
Your
good. I'm just
nickname
sitting there
Big
going, I
Human for a
find it
reason.
interesting that,
Right.
that I'm getting a little bit more and using more.
Okay, so which one do you put first?
I'm going to go with right here.
D.
D.
You're going with D.
Yeah, it was kind of a toss-up between the last two. If I'm going by points, it was D. I think that was the overall the best, but C was a close second.
Okay. Yeah.
I have D as well as
You had D as well.
my favorite, yeah.
All right. That's what I put as my favorite was D. Again, I helped Kirk pour them, so I have a pretty good idea of what they are. So, Kirk, why don't you go ahead and bring them out? Bring out D.
I'm pretty sure that all of ours are pretty much the same. D, C, A, and then B.
Yeah.
What'd you
I'm
put
up
last?
to-
I'm actually DA,
D-A. Okay.
and
It
then
was close.
And I liked A. Yeah.
You liked A?
I did.
You did like
Yeah,
A.
I didn't dislike any of them.
It was 5 points on me.
Yep,
So, here's
Driftless Glen.
D.
Right.
Driftless Glen,
Yep, love
which
it.
is out of Wisconsin.
Yep,
Absolutely.
very good.
We've been there. We visited them and we did an episode with them. So this is their flagship regular bourbon. So you can pick this up in the stores. It runs like $45, $50, I think. And runs, hang on, Kirk, I'll put it back up there for you. It runs 96 proof is where this is at. So it's, just under 100 proof. Got that? So that's the winner for everybody. And I would agree with that. Yeah. Right? I mean, that's where I put it.
Yet I don't have one yet.
Now, do you consider that Big Bourbon or craft?
I still consider that craft. They're independent. They're not producing 100,000 barrels a year. They're running on a pot still. So even though they have a hybrid, and they can do hybrid as well, and they can, but I think they finish back on a pot still is what they're doing with it. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Driftless Glen, by all means, chime in and jump in and correct us. But I still consider Driftless Glen a craft whiskey, even though they're producing a fair amount.
Yeah.
They're not distributed clear across the United States. You can't find them everywhere, right? But, and I don't think a lot of people outside of the Midwest really know about Driftless Glen. It's easy for us to know about them because we're here in the Midwest.
Yep.
But outside of the Midwest, I'm not sure that a lot of people would pick it up.
I would say on my bourbon journey, approaching 250 bottles, somewhere in that range, Driftless Glen was one of the first 50.
That you picked up?
Yeah, and immediately liked it. I've always liked Driftless Glen, so
Yeah.
happy to see that was our favorite.
And they've got a number of different expressions. They have a rye, they have a bourbon de Naranja. I hope I got that right, which is finished in like an orange wine cask, I believe it is, and it's delicious, by the way, absolutely delicious. A number of different expressions. We were big fans of it when we were there. Kirk, bring out. So, what was everyone's second?
For me, it was close between A and C, but C,
scoring wise,
scoring-wise, won it. But it was, so I would weight this because this one had the great nose to me.
okay,
That's probably the least important factor
all right,
overall. So if we were going to weight this, it would be A for me.
A for you.
I'm A.
You're A.
I'm C.
You're C. You're gonna hate this. You are gonna hate this. Kirk, bring out A. That is gonna just the big human is gonna kick himself for this. I just know it. Yep, you already know.
Close my eyes.
So, and you guys are
don't
gonna be
even
absolutely
want to know.
surprised. Here you go. You wanna hold in on this?
This is A.
This is A. So this is Quincy Street Distillery. They're based out of Riverside, Illinois.
Yeah.
Okay. This is 4.5 months old.
Wow. Wow.
That's why he's
Really?
I love this bottle.
4.5 months old. Here you go. Let's take a look.
There is no way.
It was right there. It was, look, 5 points. 5 points.
Derek, well done.
Oh,
Man down.
Oh, man. no.
party foul.
So it's 88 proof.
88 proof.
I said light. I said low proof.
Right. But you guys both picked this as your second.
4 months.
4.5 months. 4.5 months.
That's incredible. That's
All right, so here's the
incredible.
story on it.
Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, here's the story on this. So, Derek at Riverside Distillery, who makes this, and he's like a mad scientist, right? He's got like 30 different expressions of whiskey, all sorts of them. He makes turn of the century whiskey. His thought process is, at the turn of the century, when they were making whiskey, because they wanted to say they didn't want to lose the corn product, right? Otherwise, it would just spoil. So they would turn it into whiskey. By the time that they would barrel it and get it to the saloon, and the saloon keeper would decide when to serve it, it would be about 4.5 months old, give or take, right? Because they had to get it there. And it's all done in small barrels. Because moving a 53-gallon barrel at turn of the century, stop it, was impossible. So they would have been small 15-gallon barrels, right? So that's what this is. This is like turn of the century whiskey. So this is like what you would have had at the saloon if you would have walked into a saloon in the 1900. That's probably what you would have been served.
Have you met anybody, because I watched this episode, that knows more about whiskey history than that particular gentleman?
No, I've met no one that knows more about whiskey.
Incredible as just watching that YouTube and letting him speak. You're just in awe.
Yeah.
It's amazing what he knows.
So here, and even more so, right? I asked Derek one question, and he filled like the next 20 minutes. I had to ask the fewest amount of questions with Derek because he's such an encyclopedia of whiskey. If you're a whiskey geek or a whiskey nerd and you really want to know the history of something, especially whiskey in turn of the century, Derek is your man. You need to talk to him. So that was your guys' the second. You're kicking yourself, aren't you?
I know.
Yeah,
But I was 5
you were
points.
close.
Had I nailed, I had 90 proof on there.
Yeah, you were
I
close.
was so close.
You were close. What do you guys have for third?
Again, they were close second and third, but it was C for me.
C for you.
And C as well. Yep.
Mine was A.
Yours is A. So
but I have
C-
this one going as the Big Bourbon.
That's right. You marked this as Big Bourbon. So you're bringing out C, right? This will be interesting.
Ah.
This is 45th Parallel Border Bourbon. So this is their flagship bourbon.
How did I miss that?
Yeah. So earlier today we tried. I had these guys try the 45th Parallel Border Bourbon finished in a cognac barrel. This is their flagship bourbon, 92 proof, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 92, right? So this is what you guys put as
Isn't that interesting?
third.
Yep. Well, again,
You put it as second,
I did have points wise. It was second, but it was based on the nose. And
right? And you said the nose for you is kind of secondary.
is less important.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a good taste than
And Jeff,
I guess I'm surprised I picked that as number 3.
and why are you surprised?
It's really good.
yeah, because we loved it, right?
Yeah. Boy, the more you drink, I just went back to it again, and I think I would score it differently. It continues to build.
It does.
On flavor, balance, everything.
Yeah, it's a great whiskey. And so here's the ethos of the channel, right? Which is, yes, you can chase the allocated bourbons, you can chase the B-Tax and the E.H. Taylors and the Elmer Lees, right? However, blind, you guys picked all 3 craft whiskeys above the Big Bourbon. You got the Big Bourbon right.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna sample it.
Wait till you see what it is. But you guys picked the craft whiskeys above the Big Bourbon. Craft whiskey is making such inroads and such huge inroads as to what they're doing and how they're doing it. This is no longer a brand new science. People have been doing this for years, right? And there's some great whiskey being made. You just have to try it. You're going to spend the 30, 40, 50 bucks anyway on a whiskey. Try a craft whiskey, and you never know. You might be absolutely shocked. Here's the Big Bourbon. It is the #1 selling whiskey in the world.
And I can't believe I didn't pick that out.
Oh,
Dead
my
last
goodness.
for me.
I drank more Jim Beam than the 3 you combined at this table.
Wow.
Depending on which ranking that you're
way.
picking,
Well, that
which one you're looking at,
No.
Jim Beam came in dead last.
Yeah.
Did you water that down?
I did not. Poured it straight. Did not
Are you
water it
picking it
down.
up or not? Because I'm not.
You're what?
I'm not picking it up. I'm not getting Jim Beam
Boy, and
profile.
No.
Jim Beam has a distinct profile, most of their products.
Yeah, and we tried it second.
that's interesting.
It was B. Yeah. We tried it second.
And okay, so that's 80 proof. These are all higher proof, so that's going to drink a lot lighter,
Yep.
more
They are.
watery.
However,
So I think that's probably where
Could be.
yeah, and it very well could be, right?
I'm making excuses.
Yeah, I know. That's quite right.
But I did identify that as the Big Bourbon.
Right, and you picked it out. You're wrong on the brand.
I was wrong on the brand.
However, the brands, I mean, Ancient Age.
They're all similar at 80 proof.
Right, exactly. So,
That was fun.
but, the case can be made. These guys have been doing it for how long? 60, 70, 80, 100 years, right?
Yeah.
These guys have been doing it for a lot less time. And they're coming in well above what this guy's coming in at. So the opportunity for what you can find in a craft whiskey is phenomenal. Would you agree?
Yeah, that was fun.
I would never buy a bourbon that is aged under a year. I never have before, ever.
Exactly.
I pass them up,
Exactly.
That's how he got me too.
Yeah.
I still
Yeah.
got to find that.
It's like the new one, Field of Dreams, I think, came
Right.
out. That's like 7, 8, 9 months, something like that. I can't
Yeah.
remember exactly what it is,
Right.
but I wouldn't buy it.
No, I didn't. I
With
still
that
haven't
being
bought it.
4 months, it's blowing my mind away.
Yeah, 4 months, right? And
Yeah.
it's you guys all picked it second,
Yeah.
which is just absolutely amazing.
Imagine
So-
what it'd be like if they left it in the barrel.
So he's got older expressions. He's got 6 year. He's got bottled and bond. He's got 7 year. He's got 8 year. He's got older expressions, and he's got 100% malted rye. There's like half a dozen distilleries that are making 100% malted rye whiskey, but he has one.
Wow.
Derek is a mad scientist, and again, if you really want to learn about whiskey history, talk to Derek. Ask him a question, and just sit back and enjoy.
Yeah.
Make sure you have a glass of whiskey because you're going to be there a while. That's just all there's to it. You're not going home with that. You can pour more if you want. Be my guest. Hey, that's going to do it for us here at the Great American Whiskey Cookers. Jeff, Nate, Big Human, thanks a lot for running through this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys learned a little bit of something about it. Join us on the socials. Hit us up on Facebook. Like us on Patreon. We really appreciate it if you become a subscriber. Until next time, if you can't be good at it. See ya.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I like this. Everybody else liked the other expression.
Yeah.
I loved this one.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Wow, man,
that
blew my mind away. It just blew me away.
I told you about this 4-month-old that blew me out of the water.
This is it.
That was it.
Yeah.